And welcome to another episode of the BANGover Podcast, album anniversary, listen, review, sit down, go to town, boogie. I'm still working on titles. I'm Scott Allen, as always, your host, and Chris Myers, super fan, super producer today. He's doing both roles because we're doing Turnstile's
Turnstile.
Turnstile.
It's like, you know, you go through the subway and you pay
That's
the
a
thing,
turnstile.
and the thing,
Yeah.
that's a turnstile.
And a turnstile is made up word.
That's
I think it's a wrestling move. it might be like this. Anyways, Time and Space, released in 2018. So new,
fresh.
People
Yeah, still playing these songs.
Yeah.
They just came last year to. God damn it! What is that venue? It's over by Stubbs. I don't remember.
Over by Stubbs?
Yeah, it's near where Stubbs is. I don't think it was. Maybe it was Mohawk. I think it may have been Mohawk.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Just jumping off that balcony into a crowd, sick, dude.
That is
because that's kind of what the idea.
probably what happened. Actually,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Because you sent me some live videos, and it was like everything I imagined it was going to be after listening to this album. I was like, yeah, dude. These are just young, vibrant people just fucking slamming.
It's funny to watch those videos because, like, I mean, we'll talk more about progression, but seeing like them do that type of stuff, because that's a whole different audience to play for, is like this hardcore audience. If you follow like Philadelphia or not Philadelphia, what the fuck am I? Pennsylvania, like that whole
area of
like
music,
that whole hardcore
and,
scene, Maryland, and just that whole area.
That
was it the
dude,
northeast?
So cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
They are pissed off. So they.
Well, I love this like type of punk with this heavy balls, like just grittiness to this like kind of punk rock music. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you agree?
Well, that's what it's taking all of these elements and just making a big stew out of it. But it's like, I mean, if you that whole scene is like people on the ground, you know, the band is playing on the floor with the audience. They're around them.
Oh, and they're jumping
in and off.
Yeah. Standalone singer.
And then,
right?
Singer,
of course.
2 guitar players, bass player, drummer. So, you know, you have a lot of people on stage.
So that singer's immediately, like, as soon as the set starts, he's in the
flipping,
crowd. He's in the crowd.
Yeah, he's doing shit. But it also it's to see them also getting to this album, which is their sophomore their first on a major.
Roadrunners. Congratulations.
So to see them getting to this point from, you know, only having 2 EPs and then 1 other album full length, and then to like the shows they're playing where it's like you're on now a stage at a festival and the audience is behind a barricade and they're not and
able
you're 10 feet above them.
You
know, it's more about your stage show. You got to like really.
Now you got to kick it up another.
Well, you're taking that stage show you had on the ground where you're like thrashing with the audience. Now you're just out there having to give that feel projected to the audience now instead of actually having to. It's more tactile there. You have to kind of project it in a sense.
Yeah, I guess that might have been a problem for them when they were playing like bigger shows where they're just like, oh shit, this is not like your house show. This is not your personal.
I've seen them play at a skate shop.
Venue,
there's a video of them.
Oh, that's
literally
a house party. Are you joking me? Like this is where they live.
So,
they'll still be doing stuff like that no matter how big this band gets because that's where they started. That's where they live and kind of what makes them.
Yeah. So it's crazy to see. Of course, they're on this rise, and so that's why we're kind of
fucking
talking
Roadrunner,
about.
Man.
They're on Roadrunner.
Yeah.
They got all this acclaim for this album. You know, some a little divisive, but those outlets are, you know, known to be notorious. So, but I mean, a lot of critics and fans, I think the album met a lot of acclaim. I've talked to a few people outside of BANGover and just out in the real world
We eventually leave the house every so often to interact with people.
But I hear like just people I talk about with music randomly with, they'll be like, dude, I heard this band. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, so it's nice to hear that other, like they're reaching.
So someone else knows about this band.
Yeah, they're reaching an
Okay.
audience out there. So it's that's what a major will get you. That's what
I think
heavy
it's
promo and
200,000 followers on Spotify. That's not bad, because some bands that are like pretty big in my mind only have like 200,000 or whatever followers. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, even I think they're just getting to that point too, where like the album artwork is pretty. It's pretty like it stands out, and that's like what you want, at least in this day and age. You know what I mean? It's like when you're shuffling through your playlist or what, like that's one thing to me that sticks out. If it's got like an interesting art, that's the first eye-catching thing that gets you. So
True.
It kind of reminds me of
how
like,
we used to pick out albums back in the day.
Yeah.
Before you could even scan like a CD and like listen to a preview, like you just had to be like, well, I'm gonna take a shot on this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's got that yellow color scheme. It's just big, bold yellow with a circle. And then if you dive deep into what's actually in that circle, it's a picture of the bass player doing a front flip into the audience, which reminds me of a lot of like, it reminds me of that Nirvana cover where that dude's just like flying into the audience. It's like that classic picture, black and white photo. It's like the exact same thing. So,
you kind of know what you're getting into when you see that.
Exactly.
Like, oh, so this is gonna be fucking aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least fast, in your face. But that being said, like this album has a lot of like melody and hooks and harmonies, and they take a little bit of risks here and there when it comes to blending this hardcore style with other elements. You know what I mean? Which is the only way to create something different.
it's the only way.
If not,
like,
every
to
hardcore
cross
band
over.
sounds the same. You
Exactly.
gotta have a little bit more imagination. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I think. One thing that drew me to them was like there was a point where I was just going on this hard, like a deep dive, but it was a deeper dive than I usually do. It was just like you kind of have when you go down a rabbit hole, in a sense, like you're going through YouTube or whatever. I went down a rabbit hole of just like hardcore bands, and to a point. At some point when you do that, it all just starts to kind of sound the same. It's very hard to find a band that sticks out. Like at some point you understand what the genre is, and then you're looking for who sticks out in the genre. And that's where you're going to, that's where your attention's going to go.
Who's the innovator?
Exactly. Who's doing something different?
The creators, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that drew me to them is because I was on this just YouTube / iTunes rabbit hole of hardcore bands, searching the genre and just listening to everything. And it was just something about the intensity, the singer. It's different. He kind of reminds me of like Zach De La Rocha a little bit, like a hardcore Zach De La Rocha, like a little bit sharper. Yeah, maybe, but
it was presented in a way where I was reading like their history, and it was like the band developed around the vocal talents of what's his name?
The singer?
Yeah,
Brendan Yates.
It was like kind of developed around there, where I guess this guy can fucking scream, or even probably do so much more. He'd probably actually sing. It's what it seems like, and how you just described him. You're like Zach De La Rocha type. Well, it's like then he's capable of many different things. Yeah.
I mean, that's what Zach. I mean, he like did there's previous albums have sort of like this rap rock feel to it, where he's like kind of has like a rap undertone to it, where it's a speaking sort of voice. But
it's so weird that I don't even rap rock like Rage Against the Machine. I'm like, no, Rage Against the Machine was just like rage, right?
Yeah.
Like they just had their style, like they had a style, and that's just what it is. And it's not a genre of music. It's them. No.
Exactly. It's kind of like what they're going for. It's like a genre of itself, where like every song is kind of different. There's that one song on this album, Moon, where like has the bass player singing it, and it's a whole different feel. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's what I was saying. They experimented a lot on this album.
And so
definitely going to see what like sticks in the long term game, because it is being like kind of critically acclaimed, and a lot of people are talking about it.
You got to take risks.
Yeah, so and they're like, oh, it's a pretty cool album. So and the next album to take it maybe one step further in the right direction. And that being said, it's hard to.
Well, now you've been playing shows. For how long? You know, Roadrunner kind of backed them. Got a promo for the album. Got it all probably. Got the tour set up. So
yeah, this is a hardcore band, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
labeled as a hardcore punk. So
and kind of like the very first one of these bands was At the Drive-In. You know what I mean? That was like the breakers of like chains, if you will,
of hardcore.
Yeah, like that's how they always describe, like when you look at their genre At the Drive-In, it's hardcore. And it's just because of how blistering fast things are and the vocals just being...
Vocals, tempo changes.
Growling or anything heavy. It's just kind of a voice, you know?
Yeah.
It's someone's voice. Not technically singing almost in any way. It's kind of like more just what you actually sound like when you talk into a mic like I am right now.
I think that genre... kind of like, again, when you listen to the genre, you start to like grab certain elements and okay, this is what makes hardcore in a sense, like breakdowns, taking tempo changes, hardcore, like heavy, like not fast drums, like hard drums. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. Like instead of a speed, it's more of a velocity thing. Like you're hitting them harder and doing like fills in a sense, you know, because the heaviest part of like a hardcore song is where it's just like kick and snare, but like super slow.
Yeah, like the first song, it's like dun 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 dun, and then you can just go with that heavy cymbals.
Tom snare or cymbals, whatever. It's not fast.
No, it's a fucking 4-piece drum set at best, you know what I mean?
And then even when it gets to the fast part, it's just like
it leaves it open, and it leaves it very it's what makes it hardcore and not metal, you know? Because if you took a different drummer, put it in there, and he just started fucking double bass blast beat, and it would change this.
Some of these riffs,
you would turn it would be metal.
Some of the riffs, if you threw double bass, because they are pretty heavy. So if you took that riff and put a double bass under it, it's almost a whole different, you know, it's a different genre almost. If it's like, they do like a little Slayer thing motif in this, where it like slows down and it's just like kick, as like the guitars.
Kind of keeps it going. What I was like thinking, because I was saying At the Drive-In, was they kind of like set that, right? Where everyone heard that album, Communication, whatever the fuck it's called. And then all these bands were like starting to pop up. All these hardcore bands, like, you know, a year later, next year. And then they're getting signed too because of the success of At the Drive-In. Every record producer wants to find the next one of those, right? So there's all these people. But I heard the funniest statement where it was like, for whatever reason, because it was like how hardcore died, and it was like for whatever reason they took like the worst parts of those At the Drive-In songs, where it's like those real bitchy riffs, you know, the parts in At the Drive-In where it's just kind of like what can turn you off sometimes, because there's a lightheartedness to it, and it's like fuck, you know, like metalheads don't like the lighthearted.
I think that
you think that maybe that's what I was thinking. But this is but that was like
I don't know what
early
hardcore,
2000s, and now we're in 2020. You know what I mean? So the scene changes. The term hardcore changed dramatically.
Yeah,
heavy metal was a term that changed. Dude, Led Zeppelin is a heavy metal band. And you're like, what? And everyone would be like, no, they're not. But that was the heaviest thing back then, wasn't it?
I mean, I think
for a point that these terms in genres,
At the Drive-In was
the
emo thing. I think that's where that bitchy.
I hate that bitchiness of
the
guitar,
hardcore,
where it's like
it was like
where it just gets a little too lighthearted for me.
Yeah,
where it's just like there's just not enough oomph. It's always like in the chorus too, where you lose me.
Punk rock kind of has that too. It just kind of like where. You got to kind of ride that line a little bit, and that's where like
they're doing it great.
Well, that's why they're
fucking slamming it when it needs to slam, like a metal band, but leaving it very open on the choruses and the hooks and their catchiness. and keeping it very punk rock, if you will.
The choruses are like in a major scale or something, and then the hooks are like in a minor because they're with like the thrash, like it's all
head
kind of
bob.
weird, but then like it's real catchy. You know, whenever they do go into this like kind of punk thing, like speed riffs and stuff, it's like real catchy riffs. They're not a lot of like, they do have their little thrash stuff they do too, but it's taking those elements and doing different stuff with it.
Yeah, having fun with it.
Taking the hardcore parts of, like you're saying, maybe like at the drive-in, not the
Yeah, you want the ass slamming parts
Yeah.
from At the Drive-In. Those parts that make you like, as you start the album, you know, that first song just fucking, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Where it's just
tempo
like
changes.
every song on that album, how
Yeah.
it starts, just like this album, where it's just like boom in your fucking face, and it was just like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, every
That's what I
song needs
want.
to just like
Yeah.
come. So,
I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
well, speaking of, let's check out the next track.
What are we gonna do? All these are very short, so
Oh yeah, so
I'm gonna have to
we're
pee
slam through this
very
one.
fast.
We're gonna check out Generator. This is my pick. This is one of the like hard, just like riffy songs, and then it's got like a breakdown. I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of everything. So
Well, you'll hear it.
yeah,
You'll hear it.
it's 3 minutes. Let's check it out.
3 minutes. And that's how you end a song. That came out of nowhere. It's just like, boom. I'm like, wait, it's over? That was very interesting,
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
It's like elements so many different elements. Starts so hardcore, but then it ends all like nice, happy. There's claps. You know what I mean?
There's clapping in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally different. And then there's even that little breakdown where it kind of it's all lo-fi.
Yeah.
And
is
it's
it
like,
hence the name Time and Space?
Time and Space,
Yeah, is why these songs are worked this way.
yeah, they're like Brendan Yates did a little discussion on the album, and let me find well, fill some time real quick. I'm gonna find the album real quick.
Fill some time. Oh shit. It definitely makes it interesting. I was looking at some of the reviews. Some are very highly, and then Pitchfork gave it a mixed review.
Yeah,
That's how they say it when they just give a bad review.
yeah. Kerrang gave it their like album of the year, and
That's 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
Nope.
so a little facts, some facts on the album. Producer is Will Yip, who did a bunch of just like bands in this scene in this area. He's kind of regarded, like highly regarded, of that type of
mixing
like,
this type of shit.
Yeah, he's actually a musician himself, drummer, session drummer. You know, so he's kind of
Most engineers or sound guys drummers.
yeah. So yeah, it was produced by him through Roadrunner. And this is what Brendan had to say about it because of like this time and space thing. It kind of like referenced it to like an out of body experience. So like kind of it's just the idea of disconnecting oneself from situations and letting go, separating yourself. It's just a lot of reflection in that sense, stepping back and looking at the position you're in, the relationships you're in, and going outside of your mind and out of your body to see the clearing. So it's like just an introspective kind of an album, like way, so time and space, but taking that element. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I heard that it makes sense after hearing that song.
I mean, a lot of
Like,
the
I get it.
lyrics, are like really. And I think that's part of the catchiness. Is they're really in your face and honest in a way. You know what I mean? Like a lot of lyrics are honest, but I mean, I don't want to say even dumbed down, but it's like it's kind of wearing your feeling on your sleeve, but saying it in a way that's I don't know, a little more relatable, I guess. That's not too cheesy or corny, but like, you know what I mean? I would say going back to like this Nirvana compare, like Kurt Cobain did it very well, where it was like he kind of wore his emotions really out there, like.
But at the same time, like some of it was just make-em-ups and just like ridiculous territorial pissings.
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
But I mean, like
No.
the choruses to his songs and stuff, they're not very hard. They're easy to remember.
Oh yeah, it's
But they're very
be,
but they're very introspect. They're really like heartfelt in a way. I'm not. See, I'm not describing it well, but it's like I don't know.
I think it's just
There's the meaning behind the song, I guess.
It's kind of like where you expect it to go. Like it's the chorus is always what you're waiting to get to in every song. Like no matter what, when you write a catchy song, how you do that is you start with the chorus. The chorus is everything. The only reason we have a verse is to get to a chorus. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be the song in a sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is the song. Everything else is filler for the chorus. And they do it well when writing that type of chorus that is rememberable and catchy. You know what I mean? Because catchiness sticks in your head. And that's what it's really about. If you can get one of these songs on this album to get stuck in someone's head and another person's head and another person, it's the earwig thing.
That chorus where he's like, "Don't waste my time with all your lies. Just leave me far, far behind." So like super simple. But the way he's like screaming it and his inflections on stuff, you wouldn't really tell that the meaning, the emotions there. And like how he starts, I'm hanging on to what I got left, picking up all the pieces in the dark, and sound is gone. Without me, you'll be moving along just fine. So it's like
hearing the intention in his voice.
Exact. So it's like, even though there's like a weird in his inflection and it's a hardcore song, it's like, read the lyrics, you're like, oh my God, this is like, he's talking about maybe like love or something, or like you would never.
He's talking about love.
But I mean, maybe not this.
Song.
Yeah, but maybe not this song. But you know, I mean, it's like.
Yeah, it's just me not even giving a fuck about lyrics sometimes. It's more about it's all about the hooks and how the lyrics are said. Where I'm just like, now I'm curious on what it is, you know, because a lot of music I listen to is insane, and sometimes you can't hear the what they're actually saying too much. You know what I mean? But I'm always about just what's going on in the song. There's so much to like pay attention to.
I think this band does that too, where it's like if you're listening to what he's saying, you're like, oh my God, there's like. This could be, you know, I don't know. I think that's why it crosses over a lot. You know, a lot of the catchiness of the songs. It reaches different audiences that can hear certain things or pick up on a lyric, and they're like, oh, I like that lyric or whatever. Whereas like some bands, it's very hard. Other bands, even in the hardcore scene, it's very hard to hear what they're saying. Or what they're singing
understanding
about, or
the riffs,
the riffs.
So it's just going so fast. You're going insane, you know.
So it's
that's nice. Another point why the drums are on this album, like they're great, but they're spaced out well, and he's planning what he's going to use, and it's not about complicating things.
He's shining in his own way.
Yeah, it's more like how you kind of make a catchy song, dude.
Exactly.
You go back,
go back
and like listen to like older Judas Priest, like Screaming for Vengeance, and the drums are so easy compared to like what type of music we're playing. Heavy metal, right? And it's all like fucking 4 on the floor, and I could play it all day and sometimes sing some of these songs simultaneously, but it made it so catchy. Like Screaming for Vengeance, that whole album is so catchy, and it's still metal, but it's just, it has this catchiness to it. And then sometimes you have to, what I'm getting at is sometimes you have to take away the drums. A lot of people don't like drummers because they add too much. And that's why you hire a drummer to tell him what to do and what you want. And sometimes that's what needs to be. Because giving to our own devices, we will drum solo all over.
Exactly.
We'll just,
you gotta do the song justice.
All over this.
It's like I don't know. Everybody seems to be working together for the song.
It's about the song and not about the individual player.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or not like your part.
Or even the instrument.
What do you want to compliment?
Yeah. You know, there's a lot going on.
Be complimenting the song, and it's key. Because if you're playing a fucking triangle and you had one little triangle part, got to get it right. You know what I mean? It's like it's not about like I need to like work the triangle. This needs to be added. No. You know what I'm saying? It's just a concept of like writing a song. You know,
it's
like,
because
you do your part no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a triangle hit. That's what I'm saying. One hit at the end of the song.
Well, yes, that's why you don't have that room for that type of stuff when it's like these songs are structured where it's like everyone needs to be on the same page in a sense, because it's about the riff and like the flow of the song and like the kind of like working for the audience in a sense. Like the songs are structured to get an audience to move, even like listening to them.
That's the genre
so
itself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So, you know, there's not a lot of room for people to shine in a sense. There's solos on here, but they're really sparse and they're quick. It's not really meant to like, look at what I can do. It's more like, they're very thrashy.
Sometimes you get to the point with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just need a wail on a guitar to like.
But having these breakdowns in there as well that are a little pulled out, like we're talking like 12 measures, and it's just staying on that. Like the last song we just listened to. The first parts were like one, it's like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it's just flying through these fucking riffs, and then you're just blistering, and then
slow down,
this groove,
and then
on the backbeat, just kind of hit the backbeat of this song and kind of let it. Hey man, time and space. That's what we were saying.
Exactly.
So I'm excited about getting into the next song.
Let's check it out. It's gonna be High Pressure.
Is this mine?
This is your pick.
This?
Yes, sir.
As soon as I heard it, I was just like, "Fuck yeah!" It's 1 minute and 56. I would say crossover is like a better word to use for describing this type of music.
Whereas
because
like DRI
hardcore,
crossover,
yeah.
like punk and thrash, this is crossover. Or I guess it's still all the same because
Well,
it's
in thrash metal, you can
That's
still
pretty-
take
I
more
mean-
risks and like do a little bit more things. You don't have to like if you're a death metal band, there's a certain set of rules that makes you death metal. If you're a hardcore band, there's a certain set of rules that make you hardcore. So, in a sense that they're using all these different things like time and space. He said it again. In doing so, they could lose their original facing of being hardcore, and maybe lose a little bit of fans too if you dabble too far out there, if you will.
tried tried too much new stuff.
Try to
Yeah.
add too many things. I think this is a great blend, not pushing too hard. That being said, a lot of these songs are like fucking a minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Just fucking go, dude.
That's why it's just like it's again riffs on riffs. It's
Yeah.
like real riff heavy.
It keeps maybe that's what's always going to keep the standard of being hardcore is having these quick songs, a minute and 30 seconds.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think that's
Anytime you go past nothing's past 3 minutes on this. 3 minutes and 14 seconds. 14 seconds is the longest song
Yeah.
on here. Going past that, you probably wouldn't be a hardcore band anymore.
yeah.
Then
it's like
pull the title
tradition-
from you.
That's why in reviewing the album and just listening to it again, it's like this band could totally have music that's on the radio if the radio permitted 1 minute songs.
That's what it was. That's why so many songs are a minute and 30 seconds. It's a standard because it was like a good playtime. You don't really want to go past that. Like 6 minute long songs are not even allowed.
Yeah. Well, it used to be. Now you can
You remember
have
listening to the radio and then
longer-
you're
yeah.
like waiting for that part to come
Yeah.
and then you're like, wait, they just jump over it because they just took a
mean,
whole
I-
chunk. They'll remove solos
Yeah.
of songs so they can get it on the radio.
Yeah.
Like for real.
But at the same time, like they'll do like Van Halen, and you'll only hear Eruption with "You Really Got Me." Like they'll never play.
Oh,
just
the opening track, yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate
But
it
those
when
are
they
two
talk
songs.
after because the end of the song is so long, like a Zeppelin song. It's just fading away, and then they come back in and start
But it's
talking
like-
over it. And it's like, shut up.
that alone
Like what I
is
do
probably like 8
in this
minutes.
podcast.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're playing like Rush songs too and Pink Floyd songs. So I mean, the radio now has like gotten used to these long format songs
Man,
because
ain't no radio anymore.
the DJ
man.
like can just go. The longer the song, the better. Like I can just sit back and do nothing. It's like that's
Technically, what we're doing right now is the future of radio. No,
True.
Yeah, this is it. Two
This
guys
is-
in
this
living
is
rooms
radio
talking
currently,
about an
yeah.
album, playing an album
Yeah.
for other people to listen to. Because
Yeah.
why? Because we like this band.
Yeah. And nobody, and it's not, again, and that's kind of the point. It's like you're not really going to be able to find too much of their music on radio because of the format, because of.
Man, fucking radio's dead. That's what
Well,
I'm
radio
saying.
is
Like,
dead, but like.
They're gonna get fans from shows.
Yes.
Playing shows constantly.
Shows.
It could make or break this band and these people because we all know the whole fucking wear and tear of just show after show.
Yeah.
Write an album, go back out on tour, show, and it could tear people apart, or you embrace it and you live it, and that's what you do. But it's either or, you know. And that being said, it's like that's only really for younger bands, bands that are on their second album,
Yeah.
that have to
Well, they-
work and keep going to create a catalog, and then you can
Yeah.
slow down.
They're kinda
take a
young.
break, yeah.
Formed
you can
in
be the
2010,
police and just, you know what? We're just gonna take a break.
Yeah.
Like we've done a lot. All right. How much more do you want?
So they did an interview with Apple Music, like their radio kind of thing, and it was the bass player, Franz Lyons, and he was talking about how he like didn't play bass, and the guitar player actually taught him all the songs and was like, you can do this and like all this shit. So if you ever watch live videos, you'll always be like, why is he like the most like he is the most animated one. He's like flying around. He's on the album cover doing a front flip. But I mean, he's also
dude. I thought everyone in this band was the most animated one. It's like no one's just standing there playing a bass line. No, they're slamming into each other. They're just, it's awesome. You bring that energy on stage and it will reflect onto the crowd.
Yeah.
No one standing there is going to get a bunch of people to move. Oh, well, Slayer. But never mind. Their heads banging. Whatever. Move on.
The Sex Pistols kind of did it with like Sid Vicious, where they just got a guy.
Just got a guy to
taught him
thrash.
bass and got him to thrash.
You got to be their protagonist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not saying they necessarily, that's a cut and copy what happened here, but it's a story of the guitar player getting the bass player incentivized, teaching him the songs. He's now a part of the band. He's also like, he is growing as far as a musician, where he's like taking lead vocals on songs.
They really just got like one of their friends to play.
So yeah, it's like,
they were like, we need to fill this spot,
so
man.
it's like,
what do you think?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I can learn. Good enough. I like your effort.
Yeah.
And your
So
heart. And that's what matters. More so than your playing.
It's totally a really it's cool story that, kind of epitomizes what the band is. It's just a bunch of friends, kids that kind of like started small with like EPs and stuff, and then kind of grew, and now it's kind of
They're taking
growing.
it serious.
So yeah, it's becoming more and more serious. So it's good to see somebody kind of taking slow steps in a way. And I mean, that's kind of the music too. Hardcore and punk always kind of does this like EP. We kind of talked about it, where it's like, you're not necessarily going to be a punk band and put out a full length, your first thing. So you just laying out what happens.
It's most bands are not
it's
allowed
like
to
EPs
do that.
and exactly. So it's going to be like a single and stuff.
Rolling them out. I'm kind of blown away by when a local band does a whole album.
True.
I like it, but at the same time, I'm just like,
it's just a lot. I mean, some of the great local albums we have are short ones. Grease Beast, we talked about. It's like,
that's true. Yeah, they were all very short. Those were like 4. I guess most of the time they are pretty short. No one's coming out with like 13 songs.
Exactly, epics and stuff. So it's like, mainly
sometimes
because of the money.
I guess. But. I thought that was like asinine, because the idea is, well, I keep thinking if you get picked up by a record label, then things start to change for you, and therefore your sound is going to mold into that. You're able to practice more. Mm-hmm. You'll have access to a studio, better equipment. These things change everything. And then working with a producer as well. So whatever you did on those EPs before, it is you, and it will reflect in, but you're going to, I guess, it's going to be more crafted, because you have the money. Hence why this album's so good, I believe, because they had the
resources.
Funding.
Yeah.
Roadrunner.
Exactly. I think
Nickelback paid for all this shit, by the way.
Shit.
They're the money hogs
yeah.
on Roadrunner. And then, dude, I saved one of those Roadrunner decade anniversary albums. And I was just in my car, and fucking Nickelback came on, dude, on my Spotify. I should delete it and get Apple Music, dude, because my algorithm's fucked.
Now it is.
Yeah.
As soon as it touched Nickelback.
I was like, dude, no, it was on a metal album.
And you let it play for more than 5 seconds.
You know what was funny is it was like their attempt at making a metal song too. It was like Heavy Balls. Heavy Balls.
You kind of gave it a shot, but then you're like, fuck it.
No, I was like, who is this?
Oh, okay.
Because it didn't sound like them. But when you saw the title and then you're like, oh, I know. Yeah, I hear it now. You almost fooled me. So should we get into the next song?
Sure, yeah. This one will be my pick.
Oh, this is the end of the episode.
This is the end of our episode.
Oh my God, dude. Just like this album, this just flew by.
Yeah. I'm going to pick, I think, the self-titled Time and Space, the last song on the album, because it's kind of one of those roller coasters of a song, and it is the title track. And also, they're watching their live stuff. They're so, it's got to be like, of course it's thought out, but like, you get this new Roadrunner album sort of deal. You think you're gonna like have big shit, whatever, And then you go on stage, and the banner behind is literally like, it looks like a black square that has duct tape that says time and space that's spelled out.
Do you think they wanted that though?
I don't know.
They were like, they keep trying to give them money, and they're like, no, we do it the DIY.
That's why, like, instead you could literally have some
yeah.
fancy, nice, like,
they still
background.
all live in the same like apartment, just like kind of wearing dirty clothes all the time. They're like, no, it's part of our sound and who we are.
So, but
you
like,
take that away from me.
I think
can't write songs anymore.
It's cool if that's the thing where it's like, yes, we have all this, but when you come see us, everyone else that maybe is under Roadrunner Records will have a nice backdrop and cool like set, whatever the fuck you need. You know
we just did an episode on Sepultura. What do you think they have going on?
Dude, I can't even.
Wait, they're not on Roadrunner anymore, are they?
No,
Oh, as soon as Soulfly signed, they were off. My bad, y'all. Oh, fuck.
No,
fuck.
That's Sepultura calling us now.
I'm sorry. I'm going to just text them right now.
No, yeah. I mean, I can imagine, though, when we go see them at Emo's, that it will be pretty epic on stage. You know what I mean? As far as, like, shit screens or whatever the fuck they're going to have. Like,
it's Sepultura. I was thinking they're going to have a whole orchestra play with them.
They're going to invite the whole Austin Orchestra to play drums live.
Dude, I'll be there.
No, I mean, stage. That type of shit. But yeah, this is like just a more grassroots, like you're saying. Like,
yeah, they don't need much. They're not Sepultura. They haven't been around for. How long has the Sepultura been around for? 40 years?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Close.
15 albums in. But
when did this band come out? 2010?
2010.
Holy shit, dude. They've been on it for 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years, second album. So see, they're taking.
Are they still kids?
I mean,
when did they start this band? When they were 12?
If you probably start when you're 18, you know, they're probably like not even 30, maybe just now 30.
Oh, thank God. I thought they were like 21, 22. And I was like starting
at
to
this
worry
point,
about
probably.
Myself. I was like, I'm 32, man. I haven't done shit.
At this point, they're probably, like late 20s, maybe early 30s, just because of.
We still have time.
Yeah.
No matter how old I am. Right now.
You still have time no matter what. But it's to see like a young band take the right steps. You know, again, they were offered to be on Roadrunner for the first album. They turned it down, taking it slow.
Smart, yeah.
Let's
learn. Let's make an album and learn from making that album before we were given a bunch of money to make an album and we botch it.
And then we got to follow it. Exactly.
Because that's what happens when you fuck an album. The band usually breaks up. That's usually what happens.
And that's what you're going to like take it nice and easy, 3 EPs or whatever the fuck.
Hey, man, we still got time. I'm sure they're working on something as we speak.
Oh, yeah. I mean, by this at this point,
this stuff is quick.
On this stuff, when you're writing 2-minute songs.
Hardcore, yeah, did you think, right? You got another 25 minutes sitting somewhere else, don't you?
You better.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hear it. But again, this
everyone that thank you for listening. Yeah. But definitely go out and buy this album. Like, it's worth having the vinyl. Totally. Like this would.
The vinyl looks cool. Like,
and I think this would sound pretty good on vinyl because it would take away a little of the production. Maybe
add some of that. Yeah.
You know like that punk rock reading.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's something I'm gonna keep listening to, and then save that on my algorithm. Get rid of the Nickelback.
Get rid of Nickelback.
I'm gonna get rid of the Nickelback.
There you go.
Save a little room so I can get Turnstile in. So I'm doing that for y'all. The fans. I'll listen to Nickelback on a different account.
Yeah, we'll do a album anniversary.
I'll create I'll get Apple Music just to listen to Nickelback.
Fuck you. No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna end with the album title song, "Time and Space." Thanks for listening. You want to end some plugs?
Follow us on Instagram at BANGover Productions. On Facebook at BANGover ATX. And YouTube at BANGover Productions.
Oh yeah.
Did you get that?
That's all of them. Keep an eye out for all our events we got going on. We're about to have some exciting stuff in the works for you guys.
We're taking the second stab at the crossover laugh track or comedy show. We're gonna have 3 months residency. We'll save it.
Yeah, we'll save it. Everybody, we got this year is gonna be. It's gonna be an exciting year.
And if you want, you can follow me, Scott Allen 133. I work at venues. I have multiple bands. I do this podcast. You want to listen to some of my episodes? Please follow me, Scott Allen 133 Instagram. All right, thanks, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.